Okay. Yeah, we are recording now. Eric Chezot, how are you? It was a lovely experience to talk to you, and thank you very much for coming on Facebook. Now, I would like you to understand one thing, that we have a little problem in recording, so I hope we will manage this time. First of all, in 1973-72, you decided to go to Afghanistan. Is that correct? And then?
Then he went to one boat when people were standing near the river, and he knocked with his head these people who fall down in the river. So there was a big trouble in the with everybody who was there. They think I have done it on purpose. They were very angry about me, and then they realized that the horse become mad. It's not my fault. And but for 20 or 30 rupees, then we get rid of this problem, and we continue to Bumburet Valley because it's where we went. And at the first house of Bumburet Valley, there was people that Zafar know, and he made business with them. He exchanged a cooking pot again, 2 or 3 goats, I forgot. And then his business was finished, and he went away. But before of that, he presented us to a young guy called Abdralek, if my memory is good, and he said me, this is the son of the chief of the village of Karakala. It's a little bit far away from this place, but you will reach them and with Abdralek. And so we went with Abdralek and the 3 horses, and we reached Karakala, which is a very little village in the center of Bumburet Valley. And there we met the father of Abdralek, who was a very impressive man. I mean, he was a small man, but he had very expressive eyes. He had eyes. It was like light. You know, he was. He look at you and you feel like there is a light coming inside you. He was a very sweet man, very delicate, very warm, and I was very impressed by this man, I have to say. And he offered us a small room in the village. We come in the room by a little staircase. It was just part of a tree with some straw to make to be able to jump on it. And we have a small room. And in this small room, we stay for a while. I forgot if it was something like 10 days. And we have with us a tape recorder. And the Kalash people, they knew what is radio. They already, somebody have a radio, or they know what is a radio. But they never see a tape recorder. And so it was for them a very amazing things, you know, they come to our room and they were singing all together, the young people singing a Kalash song, and after that we record them, and after that they listen to their song, and they were laughing, smiling, and discussing, and they were very exciting for that, you know. And they went every evening. They was there and they sing, and it was a very enjoyable time with this. The girls, they have little Kori on their hat, you know. They have a very simple dress, and but very smiling and not scared, you know. They were very easy going with us. And the boy were very nice also. And so we also went up to the valley where we see a mill, and we see also the the chief of the village. I forget his name. He was sculpting what they call gandao, which is a sculpture with knight. These people riding horse in wood, and not very big size. There is some like that in the Karachi Museum and even in the Kabul Museum, but this was a small size, maybe 1 meter high in Kabul Museum, or Karachi is 2 meter or something, 2.5. But then the chief of village was sculpting himself this. And after a while, we went to, there was in front of the village of Karakala, there was a river who flowed, and this river in front of Karakala village is divided in 2 parts, and in the center there was one island, and so we want to see what happens on this island, and some Kalash people said us, don't go, it's not a good place, don't go, and you know, we were young people, we still want to go there, so we went there, and we discovered the cemetery of the Kalash. And it was a very impressive place, because Kalash are not burying their dead, they are keeping them in a kind of coffin in wood. And so in this cemetery there was many coffins, but many also were old and broken and eaten by worms. And you can see the corpse inside, the skeleton. And it was very impressive also because we can see that there was some bad people who came there and who, who destroy the harmony of this cemetery and who walk everywhere and who destroy some of the coffin and who walk on the corpse and there was a broken bone and it was, and on one coffin I thought it was a couple, dead couple staying together. And my friend, he looked and he said me, no, it's not that. It's somebody took a skull and put it in the coffin. And so we see that it was not a very good intention. It was not good people who did that. And so, of course, we don't stay so long. And I have to mention that there was 2 or 3 Gandao who seemed to be there to protect the cemetery. And then after that, we stayed in this village for a while. There was a little room, I have to mention, a very small room, 1 or 2 meters square, in wood, where the lady have to stay when they have their period for 2-3 days. And when they were bleeding, they could not stay in the village because they were considered as impure, and they have to stay in this little place. And the girl complained, saying it's not funny, they have to stay 3 days alone, and it's very boring to stay there for 3 days, and a bit humiliating, but they have to do it. And this is most of what I remember of my contact with the Kalash.
Thank you very much, Mr. Eric Chazot, and thank you also to your family for taking the time to give a small little demonstration. And we will get back to you soon. Okay?
Okay, thank you
Yes.
very much.
Ishpata. Ishpata means greetings.
Spata, yes, yes. I have it on a little book note, notebook. Spata and the girl, how you call the girl?
Maish. Yeah, it's okay. You can make copies of that and we will adjust it in the interview.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you to you. Thank you.